Hello, my name is Mike Strand, and I suffered a brain injury almost 30 years ago. My story is probably similar to many of yours. I was struck by a semi-truck and very nearly died. I spent 8 years in a coma and many months in intensive rehab. After almost 3 years, I returned to my full-time job. This I struggled with for many more years until finally, my wife and I decided it was time for me to retire and move on to a less demanding part-time job. These days, I live a life that is richer and fuller than my old life would likely ever have become. I returned to school and got my BA in English. I have written 3 books and had dozens of articles and short stories published. I work part-time as a caretaker for the Washington County Historic Courthouse. I can be a better husband because I'm not coming home completely exhausted and quarrelsome after an 8-hour workday. After my brain injury, it was a difficult notion for me to accept that I was different. Different and lesser. As long as I focused on the notion that I was different and lesser, I would be forever stuck in that place. A place where I always felt the loss of a bright future. So, I stopped thinking like that. The way I did that was to start focusing on the here and now. Trying to get back to who I was like trying to be someone I was not. And that was a recipe for failure. I would focus on being the best me I could be, and no one else could ever do that better. You know how some freak accident can result in a normal person gaining superpowers and making them a superhero? Like the chemical spill that gave Peter Parker his amazing Spider-Man powers? I found that brain injury had given me 3 superpowers. The first of these I call epic grace. This came when I first accepted my brain injury, accepted responsibility for my brain injury. Fault and blame became immaterial as they didn't change the fact. I'm brain injured. I forgave myself. And if I can forgive myself, I can forgive anyone, anything. I did this by owning my brain injury. You know, a certain amount of brain injuries are going to occur. And for me to say, I wish this didn't happen to me, is like saying, I wish this happened to somebody else. I wouldn't wish this on people I love. And actually, I wouldn't even wish it on any other stranger. So I said, no, let it be me. I got this. I am not a victim of brain injury. I'm a master over brain injury. And I did it with a brain injury. My second superpower is epic perspective. I have died, and yet I live. What have you done today? I don't have to prove anything to anyone but myself. I will always do my best, though my best may be different from time to time. I know what it takes to be me. Compared to living with a brain injury, everything else is small potatoes. Nothing in my life is too hard or too much. I do my best. And if I fail, hey, I did my best. What do you want from me? My third superpower is epic will. After brain injury, everything became very hard to do. Since everything was hard, it didn't matter what I was doing or how hard it was. It was just hard. I use routine because I like routine. When I'm in a routine, it's the only time I don't feel confused and unsure. That is a rush. How do I use routine? Well, let me ask you, how many times do people think, wow, if I could just do that for 15 minutes a day for every day, imagine how good I'd be after a year. Well, I can tell you that every amazing thing that I've accomplished over the last 30 years has happened because I put it into a routine. And I just kept at it. Well, like 15 minutes a day, not 4 hours a day or something. I couldn't do that. But just 15 minutes a day that I sat and said, okay, I'm going to do this. And over a year, 2 years, learning Finnish took me 5 years, but I did it. With this trio of superpowers, I can make my own life easier. And because I've made my own life easier, it makes life easier for those around me. This makes me more desirable and popular. Me, the brain injured guy. I believe that anyone with the advantage of brain injury can have these superpowers and achieve anything they want. But more immediate, if I can find where I was here, you can have most of these things right now. All you need to do is recognize your superpowers and begin living your life fully. And with that, all the other things you may desire fall into place. But let's be real. How is this actually going to happen? Fortunately, you do not have to do this blindly or alone. I didn't walk my path alone. I used my counselors and therapists to help me get started on a successful path. You are here at Courage North, where the staff is prepared to help you to start walking your own path. So now, with every fiber of my being, I say, walk that path.